Let's have a go at labeling something. So for example, if I take a deeper look at one of my layers by clicking on the layer icon on the left-hand side, to open up the Layers menu, then I can click on the three dots beside the layer I want to find more information about. This will allow me to select from a variety of more options. The one I'm interested in this time is Show Table. From here, I can see that this layer contains information regarding cities across the whole globe, whereby each row represents one of these cities. We can see that this particular layer has many different fields available, each of which can be visually represented via the use of labels. Okay, let's close this table for now. We can do this by clicking on the X icon in the upper right-hand corner of the table. Now we can navigate back to the layer and click on it. This should open up a menu on the right-hand side of the screen. From here, let's click on the Labels icon to open up the Labels menu. You can see that by default, Enable Labels is toggled off. Take a good look at my map canvas as I toggle it on. A whole bunch of labels spawn in. So what is being labelled? Well, if we look over on the right-hand side, we can see that currently the city field is being labelled. If we click through and select lat, for example, then we can see that the latitude of each point is now being labelled instead. But city is the most useful to me right now, so we're going to go back to that. From the filter section, as I'm sure you can guess, we can apply a filter. From here, if we click on Add New, a filter is added, whereby this case, only objects with the name San Fernando stored in the city attribute are being labelled. As this is not very useful, let's have a go at changing this. I'm going to instead label objects that have a population of above 100,000. To do this, I will choose the population field and select greater than as the filter condition. Then specify 100,000 as the value the condition is being tested against. Once you've finished typing, this new filter will directly be applied. We can see on the map canvas that the amount of labels has significantly changed from before. I can exit this page and go back to the label menu by clicking on the X icon in the top right. To make our labels more legible, we can play around with its style. Clicking through to the label style will open a new menu with a variety of different options you can edit. For example, font style, size, or colour can all be altered to your liking. What's particularly interesting though is this option here called Halo. By toggling this on, colour is added behind our text, which helps make it just that bit easier to read. This effect can be emphasised further by changing the colour to something more drastic like yellow. Now we can really see where the halo is being applied. For the purpose of this demonstration, that's quite useful, albeit a little ugly. Lastly, exiting this page as we did before by clicking on the X brings us back to the Labels menu, where you can start changing the visible range if you want to. The black triangle at the bottom of this slider represents how zoomed in we are within the map canvas. If we were to move the end of the slider behind the black triangle, we can see that the labels now disappear. To make them visible again, we either have to move the slider back, like so, or And let me move the slider to the position from before. I can zoom into the map further, like so. We can see that both of these have enabled our labels to be visible again. The visibility range is really useful when you want to label things at only a certain zoom range. For example, when there are loads of labels in a certain area, it would be useful to stop labeling these when you're zoomed out, because otherwise the labels will start to overlap each other. And that's pretty much all you have to know about labeling.